Well, hello, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I am coming to you remote. So I am in beautiful St. Cloud, Florida, in my little quaint hotel room. I rented my beautiful bride rented me a room in a 150-year-old hotel. Let me get down here, make sure y'all can hear me okay. Everybody hear me okay? Okay. If you can't, let me know. But anyway, so I rented this room and tomorrow I will speak at the Path to Freedom convention, and that ought to be a pretty good thing. But I'd like to get to a whole bunch of hellos. But before I do that, I'm going to bring in a very special guest. And, I travel a fair amount, especially this time of year. And when I'm gone, I have somebody that warms my heart. And so I talked him into joining us. So we have B. I know what you were thinking. Shame on you guys. Anyway, Farm Ranch Homestead, good evening. Eagle Lover, Texas, how are you today? Let's see here. Skanes Girl, Silver Lining, how are my buds doing? If I miss somebody, I'm sorry. I'm doing this from my laptop today, so it's not as smooth as having a mouse sitting there that I can do that. But anyway, the Songs of Joy, good evening to you. TB, what's up? Aljo, good evening to you. Southern California. Second best name on the internet. The Banquet of Consequences is in the house. I'll bet you somewhere down here, the best name on the internet's here somewhere. What do you think? Hey, Loco, what's up, my friend? Oh my goodness. I may struggle keeping up with him tonight. Hey, Nitos is in the house. Hey, Nitos, I got your email, but I'm in Florida and I just haven't had a chance to really dive into it, but I will. I'll be back pretty soon. Hey, my buddy One Step Closer's in the house. Hey, ACM's in the house. I was just at their house. Who else we got in here? The Instigator, Hippocrates Gardens in the house. Bonnie's in the house, and the greatest name on the internet.
Half bubble off plum.
What'd you say?
Half bubble off plum.
There you go. If you speak into the mic, it works really well, babe. Just saying. Grateful Heart Ranch, good evening. Karen, good evening. Strong Roots Resources, good evening to you. Faith K, Mary Michelle, LJC, and Barbara in the house. And of course, Indiana Mike. Ahoy to you, my friend. And Ghetto. Hey, Ghetto, I have talked to B about what she asked me to talk to B about. She's got basketball practice that she's helping with that night. And so we're trying to work out whether or not she can be there, but I will get back to you. I have not forgotten you. RN, Can Squatch, good evening. I think I'm at the bottom. Hey, I'm at the bottom. Look at that. Pretty cool, huh? Yep. So how you doing, babe? Now that you're all home, all doing it all yourself?
Yep. Doing
Yep.
getting it done. It's taking me longer, of course.
What does getting it done mean to you? What a great day to interview me, huh?
Yeah. It took me double the time to get the birds in because I would go around one side and shut the pulley door and then go back around, and one had gotten out when I went in to shut the door. So then I'd pull the door back open and go back around and shoo it in and then go back in and try to pulley the door closed, and another one got out. So I was going back and forth trying to get them in. The turkeys, I think it's almost time to just let them stay out. They do not want
Yeah,
to they don't want to come in.
yeah. Well, maybe let me get a couple of hellos here real quick because I missed a couple people. But Easy, good evening to you. I'm in your state. Freesteading under an acre. Good evening to you. Make sure I got everybody. And I'm going to ask see if anybody's got any good ideas. And not that kind of Karen is back in the house. Anybody got any ideas on the turkeys? So what B is basically saying is our turkeys they're grown up enough now where they don't want to go home. They don't want to be in the coop. They want to stay out all night long. And B, it takes her how long it take you tonight?
I was out there for 2 hours.
Trying to chase the birds.
Well, no, I had to put water where So I filled a bucket of water up yesterday with the Kubota, and this morning the bucket was on its side. So I don't know, the rooster bucket. So I had to refill the waters up that I filled yesterday. So managing water. I took the Kubota and filled, I don't know, 60 gallons in the back of that, and then took it over to the chicken coop and cleaned all the waters out, filled everything up, and then I had extra water in the Kubota still. So then I filled 6-gallon buckets and sat them next to the coop so that I would have extra the next day. Well, when they go and they dump an entire bucket, then I have to fill it. So managing all that solo.
Yeah, well, I think that one of the challenges, and there's a lot of comments in there, babe, about just kill them basically. It's time to slaughter them, and B's going to harvest a couple coming up here with Silver
Yeah.
Lining and Louise. They're going to get together and they're going to butcher a few turkeys and that. But the problem is we have a bunch of heritage breeds that we want to raise, so we don't
Mm-hmm.
want to just butcher all of them. We want to be able to build that flock up over time, and they just don't want to go in at night, right?
No,
And they
they're
want to
like,
live outside.
they want to sleep on top of the building.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? And Midwest Ribeye, good evening to you. And the famous Life with Mike and Jen are in the house. How are my friends? Yep. Yeah, Barb says give them a smaller area to roam. Well, you know what? This is an interesting thing, an interesting comment, Barb, because at the end of the day, we talk about freedom. I want them to be free too. I want them to have the absolute greatest life they can possibly have right up until the time I take their life. I mean, I want them to have a good quality life, and I want them to be able to roam the woods, and I want them to be able to do those things. But we've just got to figure out a way to make it where it's not so cumbersome on beat. David Strom's in the house, and he says turkeys are not allowed to party all night long. Easy said, "Tag, where in Florida?" I'm in St. Cloud, Florida, right now. I'm speaking tomorrow at the Path to Freedom celebrations. Karen says teenage turkeys want to stay out all night and party. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Hey, my buddy Leather Homestead's in the house. Good evening. Yeah, Life of Mike and Jen say infamous. Yeah, there's some of that. Some of that's true too. Wild turkeys roost in the trees at night, says Half Bubble Off Plum. Maybe that's why they're on the roof. Yeah, but we don't want them to be wild turkeys. Right? Hey, KY Goatman's in the house and LJC. I think freedom, give them the freedom to be out all night. Yeah, that's what I think what we're coming to is that, we're going to lose some, be it predators, I'm sure, but maybe it's time just to let them go. Wanda Weaver's in the house from Southeast Kansas. And Big Kid, what's up, my friend? Get down here to the bottom. Oh, I am. Cool. Rock on. So anyway, if any of you guys have any other ideas on how to get the turkeys to want to live in their house, and you know what's so crazy about that is I spent all this time building what I thought would be a great turkey house for them, right? I mean, if you go into these turkey coops, I built trees inside the coop so they could roost way up high and get out of all of it, you know? And they don't want the trees that I built. They want the natural tree.
They don't want the
So
protection. They want freedom.
yeah, they want freedom too, right? Hey, look, sharpshooters in the house.
Sharpshooter.
It's funny how things stick, huh? Yeah, free turkey hats. We need some free turkey hats, right? Yeah, Easy says I'm about 170 miles. Oops, sorry, wrong one. See, they go by so fast. There was 3 comments in between them. So I'm gonna read Jules anyway. I was hoping my signal would finally let me participate in the live. While you're here, yeah, let me get back up here. Easy says you're about 170 miles from me. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know who Jim Gale is from Food Forest Abundance. So I'm down here and I'm actually really, really excited about speaking tomorrow because it's not what we normally do. Normally I'm at a homesteading convention or a prepping convention or something like that. But here I'm actually speaking to a whole bunch of people and with a whole bunch of other freedom warriors who have begin to attack the system in their own specialty. And we get to talk to lots of professionals. And this is a convention more about freedom and about starving the beast and about exiting the system and about those kind of things. And so I'm really excited to speak tomorrow. Hope it goes well. We're going to see, right? Yeah, sharpshooter, you're so funny.
Nailed
Yeah,
it.
nailed it. Yeah, I love, 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 love that. We got to get you a hat that says sharpshooter.
And then on the
Yeah.
back, they nailed it.
Yep. Yeah. That would actually be funny. We need to get him a new Freeman hat, and on the back we'll put nailed it. You should write that down, B. We'll get him one because that would be funny. That would be absolutely funny. I think, anyway. Let me see here. Nito says you're about 150 miles from my son's. Yep. Yep. I have. I don't think I've ever spoken Florida before. I think this will be my first time. Is that right, B?
What were we down there for? We were down there for a conference of some kind in Orlando. What was that?
Maybe this. I don't remember. Hey, Squatchy. What's up, buddy?
What was that? You
Yeah, I
had some
remember.
kind of booth, didn't you? Have some kind of like preparedness event going on in Orlando?
No, I went to the World Natural Disaster Convention in Miami Beach, but I didn't speak. I just hung out. But
Hmm.
Farm Ranch Homestead says, if I remember correctly, I saw Jim in an interview. It was enlightening. Yeah, I've had him on my show before, and he is a super high energy guy, and it's so fun for me because he looks at the whole idea of exiting the system a little bit different than I do, which is really healthy for both of us. And so I get to spend a bunch of time with him tomorrow, and a bunch of time with people like him. Like one of the people I'm going to share the stage with is the former Colorado Avalanche Theo Fleury, and Theo's become a trauma expert after all the hits apparently that he's taken. He went and after he retired, and now he spends all his time doing that kind of stuff. So I'm actually really excited about doing it. David wants to know, will your presentation be streamed? So you can buy tickets to this thing for an online stream, David. But I will get a recording of it at some point. I don't know when. It's funny how these things work. Every place I go speak says, "Hey, we'll get you a recording." And there's some of them I spoke at 2 years ago. I still don't have it. So
Mhm.
who knows, right? Let me see. Packrat says, "Tag, hey, young Tim M was happy to meet you in Camden and talk to you the other night. I was at his first Davidson County organized homesteaders meetup, and it feels like it's got a great energy. Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that." So Tim M, I got to spend on Tuesday, Pack Rat. I got to spend a good hour on the phone with him, and we just talked a lot about community and about the inner workings of community. And he seems very passionate to do what he's doing. And so I think I would really encourage you, Pack Rat, to help him all that you can. He seems like a great guy. You know, Can Squatch says, nice place for a disaster convention, Miami. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did have him on the show. Hey, my buddy Chuck Peoples, what's up? Homestead Medical. How's it going? All right, B. So let's go back to what you were talking about. So what else are you working on right now, and why is it hard because I'm not there?
Well, I mean, it just depends on what it is, right? I mean, whether it be heavy or scary or just time consuming. It's definitely easier when you're here. But
But do you think that if
I'm
it's
glad
heavy for
that
you, it's heavy for me?
I think that I think that 80 pounds to you is probably lighter than 80 pounds to me. So yeah, I think 2 6-gallon buckets of water, you know, sloshing around and bumping my legs and spilling in my boot and all the way over there. I think you can
But
just
babe,
grab them a whole lot easier and carry them without jostling them around too much.
yeah. But here's the thing: I've seen your biceps. You're pretty strong.
Yeah, I just think that you make it look a lot easier. So I thought it would be I thought it looked easier for you to do it. It's easier for me when you do it.
Maybe it's easier for me because I just don't complain.
I'm not complaining either. It's just easier when I don't have to haul water over there.
So you make it look light work. Hey, explain why you're hauling water. This is a really good thing, and I would love for you guys um, to give me some ideas on how I fix it, because we've got a great grip on water. Well, sort of. Be explained.
Most of the time, most of the year, it's the coldest part of the year when we don't want to break a brass fitting or the PVC PEX line breaks if it gets cold and then it freezes. We've had that problem. So
I've never had a PEX line break.
yeah, remember the was that 6-inch PVC that was on the outside of the chicken run, and then I would take a Culligan jug and tip it upside down and sit it on there. That what horizontal piece that had the nipples on it where they or the cups where they were drinking, that part snapped in the wintertime.
Yeah, that
Filled
was
with
PVC.
water.
That was PVC, babe. That wasn't PEX.
Oh, what I say? I said PEX. I meant PVC. That's what was in my head. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes that happens. But yeah, so you left. We got a hard freeze. I drained all the tanks, so I didn't have any issues. Hauling water back and forth. You come back, it's 70 degrees and sunny. Then you leave again, and it's down to 23 degrees, and I'm hauling water again, starting fires and keeping the fires going. And I don't know.
Well, I think what I was really trying to get at that I wanted you to explain is, that our animals get automatically watered through most of the year.
Yeah.
For 9 to 10 months of the year, we don't have to carry any water. We don't have to do anything. It does it all for us. But then we get presented with this problem of when it freezes, because anything above ground, any above ground tanks, if you don't drain them, right, you're going to blow PVC fittings, you're going to blow brass fittings, you're going to do those kinds of things, and you're going to ruin your pumps, for example. Ask me how I know. And you're going to go through that. And so now all of the tanks are drained because of this cold snap. And so B is back to hauling water like we used to do before, we had all the automatic waterers in. And I have an idea. You guys are going to think I'm crazy, but I'm getting next year we're going to build a new barn, and I've been doing a lot of thinking about it. I was trying to figure out how could I harness the body heat of the animals in the barn to keep the water thawed. How can I direct that heat? Because I don't have to keep it real warm. I just got to keep it above freezing, right? It's not like I have to keep it 60. In fact, if I could keep it 35, you would never have frozen water and everything would be fine. Now, obviously, I could heat it with solar, but that takes a pretty decent amount of solar, right? And so I'd love to hear ideas from you guys. If you guys have any ideas on how you could go about using the animal heat, because if I don't do that, my other idea is I'm going to bury a cistern. I'm just going to bury them underground so that they're not ever, frozen. But I'd love to hear if someone had, any idea on that.
That tank is also like 3,000 gallons, right?
Well, we have a 2,500 gallon tank for the barn sitting there, but that doesn't mean I use it for the barn, right? I mean, I'm just saying, if what we end up doing is needing to bury a cistern so that you don't have to carry water so far in the winter, you're not going to bury that tank. I need a buriable tank, right? Those are two totally different tanks,
But what I'm saying though is you can't really raise that up in the air either, though, can you? If it's 2,500 gallons, you raise it up in the air, put animals underneath it.
Oh, sure.
That's gonna be heavy.
What's wrong with that?
That's gonna be heavy.
Yeah, that just means you got to build babe. It just means, babe, I'm telling you, if I sink some 6-inch steel pipe in the ground, it will hold it, no problem. I just have to build it to hold it, right? Squatchy says, I heard a gal say before, I don't need no man until there's heavy lifting and top shelf stuff to get.
Yep.
You agree with that, babe?
Yep. Well, I got a skid loader and a ladder, so I'm trying to do it myself.
Yeah. It's good for you though to do it yourself, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm glad that I can do it.
Farm Ranch Homestead says my wife has figured out that things are always easier to do when she has me to do them.
Yes. Well, that's what I was thinking.
Well, babe, I promise you, if it's heavy for you, it's heavy for me. Yeah. So Pack Rat was asking, or I'm sorry, Leather Homestead was asking when that Dickinson County or whatever meetup was, and so he's just posting details. But I would really encourage you, Leather, go to it. Let me see. You can do a hot compost in the building to heat things. Yeah, but here's the thing: can I heat it consistently? That would be my question because I can't afford whatever system that we create has to work. Because if I have big, changes in the temperature, then I'm going to freeze it one night. I'm going to bust everything that I didn't want to bust anyway, and then I should have just drained the tank.
Mhm.
Scotchy says tight spaces tag and insulate the ceilings. Yeah, for sure, 100% for sure. But I'm thinking that if I can get that tank up high enough off the ground, then and house animals directly underneath the tank, right? Whether that be chickens or turkeys or even cows, whatever it is, that maybe, just maybe, I can heat it with their heat. David wants to know if we're completely off grid. We're in my definition of off grid, which would be away from the utilities. So that would be electric, that would be sewer, that would be gas, that would be any of the utilities. We're 100% off grid, but that would depend on your definition, David, of off grid. Because I've heard a lot of different things. People say you're not off grid, you're on the computer.
Mm.
You have internet, you're not off grid. So depending upon your definition, we don't have any. We don't have. We have no electric bill, no water bill, no sewer bill. If that's what you're asking, I don't have a mortgage or car payments. So to me, that's off grid. But let me see here. Check out old medieval buildings as Banquet of Consequences, either cob or cord earthship type barn. We see survival and maintenance is difficult with a team. As a single, it sucks pond water. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? But I think there's another side to all of that. I think we got to really strive to make it to where you don't have to have both of you to run the homestead. I mean,
Yeah.
right? You agree with that, babe?
Yeah.
Why do you think that's important?
Well, I think you're not always here, and you might not always be here, and you're not always here. So I need to be able to do it myself.
Yeah, but when I'm gone, you always have people there, right?
Yeah. They're not always here to do chores though. I mean, I'm grateful that they are here to help with chores.
you got to voluntold them.
Yeah, it's not always like that. Then they're not always are they here when it's time to do chores. So,
Mm. Yeah, Jen says when I lived in the interior of Alaska, people used compost to keep water from freezing and to warm the greenhouse.
compost.
Let me see. Skane's girl says she says I got a dolly and a step stool. Oh, I'm falling behind. Let me see. One step closer. He's a really smart guy, and see what he has got to say. So, the only thing I can think of is a well insulated barn with a tank inside. Close up the barn nice and tight at night, and their body heat will warm up the air in the barn some. That should help. Yeah, one step closer. I'm kind of thinking about something a little different. Now, obviously, I could just build a shell and put animals in it and let them warm it up. But what if I could, as heat rises, right? What if I could direct that heat up to an area that houses those tanks? If I could put those tanks way up there, and then all that heat that rises, just like in a house, how the ceilings are always hot, right? Heat rises up into the peaks in like a vaulted or something like that. Could I build it in a manner that the tanks are up in that section where all that water goes and where all that heat goes up there?
As long as when the tank condensates, it doesn't leak water down onto whatever animal is underneath it.
Mhm.
Because you
Yeah,
don't
maybe you got
want
to
a
put,
wet bird in the middle of
yeah,
winter.
yeah. One more rock says, a skid loader or a man? I don't know. I'd take the skid loader. Sharon says, hey guys, just got here. Hope everyone had a good week.
Yep.
So far, so good.
Yep.
See, Hippocrates says silver lining is up there so much she ought to move.
I keep asking her.
Yep. Well, B and Silver Lining have turned into quite the duo to get things done around the farm. So, yeah, Farm Ranch Homesteads, this YouTube's right on time. I just got the notification we're live. I haven't got it yet. So it's funny, huh? Let me see here. Faith says, check out Dirt Patch Haven's YouTube. She does a hot compost greenhouse all winter in Idaho with a few rabbits.
Oh, I'll write it down.
Okay. Tag, I figured out why it takes me so long to get my projects done. Well, I'm helping with the wife projects as well. Boy, am I living that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have your projects and then you have her projects. And can anybody guess who's take priority 99% of the time?
Yeah. Your projects.
So how could you even say that with a straight face? Seriously. Sandy Phillips is in the house. Sandy says, Shalom, good evening, everyone. It has been a while since I've been able to catch a live stream. Well, Sandy, I'm super glad you're here, and I'm glad you got to catch this one. Yep. Half Bubble Plum says, can you spray foam insulate near the tank? Sure. Absolutely could, but I think it's all about where can I trap that heat at, right? I did some. You guys are gonna think I'm absolutely a dork when I share this with you, but I found it super fascinating. So I was doing some research today. Let me find it. So did you know that an average cow produces the same heat output as a 1.4 kilowatt electric heater?
One small
And
cow?
one average cow, and that a hen gives off about 10 watts or 35 BTUs of energy. So So 10 chickens would give off about as much heat as a 100-watt light bulb, right? And so the question is, how do I, as an off-grid homesteader, how do I use that heat to my benefit? And then how do I build it in a manner with vents or whatever it is so that that heat isn't also boiling the water in the summertime? Yep, I don't know. Coil pecks into a compost pile and use a small circulation pump to keep things going. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea because it would that compost pile will stay warm at the bottom quite a bit, right? Oh, I'm falling behind again. What about an aquarium heater just to keep it from freezing? Well, we could do that, but then you're using energy, right? And what I'm trying to figure out is how to use the animal's energy. you know, I mean that we were just talking about the cows or the 100-watt light bulb of 10 chickens. That heat is just rising, right? I'm not sure how
Well,
we would capture it, but hey, we'll be
those
cool. Go ahead,
those
go ahead,
animals
B.
you also let out, you let those animals out in the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
So that would not be a consistent heat in the wintertime. That if you're just using the animals, you let the animals
I
out
think
in the daytime. So those
well,
that heat source would no longer be available
yeah,
in the
during the
daytime.
day, but the day is the warmest part, right?
Well, most of the
Right.
days,
I
yeah.
Karen's got a winner. She says century ago, peasants heated their homes with livestock. Beds were placed high on the walls, and the animals were brought in for the night. Everyone stayed warmer, and the animals were safer. So maybe we just moved the cows into our bedroom.
We need a bigger bedroom.
Oh
We need to keep building.
yeah, that's just what I need. Pod 5,
On
here we
five.
come. Compost heater might not be consistent, but may be enough to stay above freezing. Hey, Glenn, what's up? Good evening to you. I'm gonna skip down here and see if I can catch up here. Oh, here we go. Why not just bury a tank in the ground and use a hand pump to move the water? Yeah. Well, Indiana Mike, as we were talking about earlier, that may be where I end up. Because obviously I know we can do that. I know I can bury a cistern inside the barn, right? I know I can do that. But I was just thinking if I could capture the heat of the animal, that would just be like really cool. Let me see. Ceiling fans in reverse would blow that hot air back down. Hmm. Yep, there's another one on reverse. Is there a way to bale leaves? Well, there's certainly got to be. I mean, I don't know one more. I don't really know the answer to that question. I mean, I would think that people who sell different leaves, basil leaves or whatever, they've got to be billing that up somehow for shipping, right? There we go. Michael Conley said, what about a solar water heater on top of the barn? And the only problem with a solar water heater is it's going to get dark at night. And then it's also when it's going to be the coldest of all. There's days where we're going to get in Kansas here in a month and a half, it'll be minus 20 outside, every day for a week. And so it won't make it through the night. It'll be rock solid. Let's see here. All right, let me see here. Sandy says, I'm literally going to be starting over from scratch. Oh, I'm sorry, Sandy. I went through a divorce and breast cancer, two life-changing events. I'm considering a strategic location, and it may be the Midwest. Well, Sandy, I would certainly welcome the conversation. And, if you email me, I'll certainly share my contact and, we can have a conversation. And I'm sorry that, you went through those things, but then at the same time, those are the things that shape us. And so from that perspective, I'm glad you went through them, because they have a tendency to kind of bring out the best in you a lot of times. Let me see here. I like the mini Earth ship idea for me. I've been looking into that and it would be good practice. Kim says aquarium pump, keep it moving. Would moving water freeze? Well, actually, that's what a lot of people do is just try to keep it moving all the time. But again, you're taking energy, and I can do that. I mean, I have a whole solar system on my house, and I could certainly put big solar on it and allow it to do the work for me. I was just sitting on an airplane, with nothing to do, thinking to myself, I wonder how I could harvest those cow farts that have been destroying our environment. How could I actually harvest them and save the whales? What do you think, babe?
Yeah. Good luck.
That's all you got to say?
Yep.
We see here, Jen says, I'm currently using templates to lay out an apartment in a big steel building for Mike. Also washing his socks while he's going through the plumbing. I'm definitely not a designer. I think you're a super multitasking, talented designing an apartment sock washer designer. That's what I think. Casey
Multitasker.
Goatman's Casey Goatman's, what about a wood stove? Yeah, but then I got to stroke it. Then I got to feed it. During the winter of 2006 and 2007, the electricity went out. I used 3 dogs at night for warmth. That would work too. You get big enough dogs. Let's see here. I need to get some of those insulated walk-in freezer panels from an auction and build a warming room. See, that's getting closer to what I'm thinking about. It's just how can we, I don't know. I like pushing the boundaries of living off grid. Go ahead, B. Something perked your interest.
Would that work? Could we build a cooler around it?
Yes.
And that would keep it from freezing.
Well, maybe. I mean, you got to understand a cooler keeps it cold just as it keeps it warm, right? Put hot coffee in one of my thermoses and then put cold
Yeah.
water in one of the thermoses. It will do both, right?
And you have cold water potentially coming in. So as it's freezing, as it's thawing off of the roof and melting and coming in, it's going to be cold.
Yeah. Hippocrates says this was the topic of the Zoom last night. Missed it. I know, and I really wanted to be there. The problem is I'm in the absolute busiest time for me from a travel perspective is late in the fall and then in the spring. But this is my last trip for the year, and I'm done. So, and I'm telling you, I can't wait for that. I want to be home. Everything makes a lot more sense at home, right, B?
Yeah. I didn't know there was a Zoom last night because I thought that there was a conflict of schedules.
No, there's no conflict. It's just once in a while we can't do them because there's classes and those
Thank
things. But they did that last night, but we just didn't make it. Sandy says my toy Russian Terrier and Pomeranian are my bed warmers. Yeah, LJC says older homes in New England still had the barns attached to the house. Hey, Gregory, what's going on? Welcome. You see, okay. Squatchy says, Tag, I put in a concrete valve in my place in Idaho and put a pressure tank in it below the frost line And so far, so good the last 5 years. Now, and I think maybe this is really the right answer is just, you just put it in the ground because it will not freeze if I put it in the ground.
But
Right.
you have to,
Yeah.
how do you get to the valves and stuff, the on offs and all of that would be underground?
Well, yeah. I think you hook it up all through pressure, babe. So you don't have a lot of switches to deal with. So, but there's got to be some kind of cover you got to climb down into, right, to deal with it. But if you put it all on pressure switches and to a frost-free faucet, it'd be just like, your faucets out by your garden in your orchard. You just turn a faucet on, and fill it up. It's still because at the end of the day, all of these ideas are great, but they still don't stop the individual waterers from freezing.
Right.
It just puts water right there at the barn. Dude, if you start talking about cow farts, just make a methane gas heater. I know, right? Let me see. Sandy says, life is better. I am stronger and I have new confidence I didn't have before. Good for you. Good for you. That's true, Sandy, I think for all of us. And, I can tell you that every time I accomplish a new task or something like we're talking about harnessing cow farts, right? If I could ever master that, I would come out of that with a new, appreciation and a new level of confidence, right? I mean, I'm sure B, would you agree that when I'm gone and you manage to get through it all and you chop all the wood and you bring it all in and you take care of all the animals, that it gives you some level of confidence, I would imagine. Would you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah.
You know? Glenn says, good evening, all. Enjoying the conversation while processing roadkill. Neighbors hit a deer with his truck. Unbelievably, no body damage.
Wow.
Yeah, roadkill Glenn. You need to take the Hilltop Leather Shop and put like a dead roadkill in there. That'd be funny. Yeah. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Hey, Vicky Poland, good evening to you. Sorry, guys, I'm not as quick on the draw with the comments because I must have missed a comment in here somewhere. Three Dogs Night, Joy to the World. I must have missed a comment. Droid Homestead says good evening. Good evening to you as well. I'm trying to catch up. Faith is out of here. Good night, Faith. I'm just trying to get down to the bottom. Packrat says indirectly heated solar hot water heater, maybe. Look into William J. Bailey's day and night patents on the sun coil from 100 years ago. Uses liquid that doesn't freeze to heat your water. That'd be interesting. Did you write that down, babe? I'll look that up.
Okay.
Hey, there's Toby. So Toby, if you guys don't know this, is a future Kansan. I don't even know that he knows it. But I was talking to Gypsy, and Gypsy was telling me Toby was a future Kansan. That's what he said. See, look, Toby agrees. He says, yep. Even little dogs help if they're in bed with you. When my pup was alive, I'd close the bedroom door to keep our body heat in a smaller place. With her gone, I added a blanket and a kilt and still keep the heat at 53. Yep, Karen, I'm telling you, I cannot have a dog in my bed. I just can't do it.
No,
Would you like to
thanks.
have a dog in the bed, babe?
No, no, thank you.
Yeah. Let me see here. Sounds like Mike needs to brainstorm the situation with the water as well. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a way to do it. I mean, I know how to do it underground. That's easy, right? Dig a big hole. I can do that. I can do that super, super simple. But what about just running PEX out to a frost-free spigot? Well, if the water freezes inside the PEX, it's not likely to break the PEX, but what it is likely to break is the copper fittings, the clamps, all of those kind of things. So oh my God, I'm such a hard time queued up. Hey, Rickster, good evening to you. Yeah, Jen says Panzer is so cuddly, though. Yeah, Panzer is awful cuddly. And he is talk about farts. That guy, he's the worst. He is absolutely the worst, and he is not allowed in my bed. No way. The good news is B wouldn't argue with me much, I don't imagine. Shepherds
No.
used to judge how cold a night was going to be, whether it was going to be a 2-dog night, a 3-dog night, etc. That's how the band 3-Dog Night got its name. Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense. It's a 3-dog night. I'm going to remember that when it starts getting cold.
I'm gonna write it
We'll
down.
crawl in bed, turn a movie on. I'll say, hey, babe, it's a 3-dog night.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Squadry says, we got 4 healers in bed and half leave because they get hot. I did not know that about Three Dog Night. That's really, really cool. All right, babe, what you want to talk about? What is
Uh,
going to interview you about?
got a new mouse trap. Got several new mouse traps. I had a issue on the back deck, and every trap I put out there, the dogs would take. Our dogs would take. And so I got a lid that goes on the bucket that has the flap, and I caught 17 mice. 17 on the back deck. That's a problem.
Yeah, so did you tell them about the new traps you went to because the old ones kept getting stolen?
Yes, they kept getting stolen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what kind did you go to?
It just goes onto a bucket. It has like a you have to have your own bucket, and then it's a lid that just sits on top of the bucket, and it has a little flap that just when the mice come in to eat from it, it just drops it down like a trap door. Boop, drops it down, and then they go into the bucket, and it resets itself. So the roosters got a feast for breakfast.
Yeah, and they like them, don't they?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Pack rat, they here down here in the bottom of the comments asked if you're feeding the mice to the chickens, and the answer is yes.
Yes, they love them.
Yep. And they eat them and then they run. Indiana Mike said you could put that tank in your wallapini.
Yeah, I don't think that the barn is going anywhere near the Wallapini. I think it's in a different area, the new barn.
Grateful Hearts thinks you need a skinny cat.
I need a cat. I'm to the point in the chicken coop, the turkey coop. I've got a rat in the chicken coop that I have tried the snap traps. I have tried the bucket. I tried the metal like mouse hotel. I've tried sticky traps. I don't know of any other traps to try, but I saw it's a rat. I saw it.
And how
I've
come you
got
haven't
a
killed it yet?
rodent. I don't I don't know how to.
Okay, I'm going to give you you ready to write down? I'm going to tell you exactly how you do it.
I'm gonna
Okay, you
stand there
ready?
with the gun. What?
Yeah, you're going to paint your face black. Okay, you're going to go get camouflage on, and then you're going to go out and hide in the chicken coop with a BB gun. What do you think?
No, because the last time you did that, there were like little ping marks on the door of the garage door had all of these little ping marks on the door. That was
LJC
you.
says you don't have a mouse problem, you have a cat deficiency.
I'm thinking that cats. I think I need a cat for Christmas.
That's what you want, a cat for Christmas?
Outdoor cat.
Compost pile to heat water. Just look up Gene Payne method of heating water.
Gene Payne.
Yeah, I just put that up there so you could. Sharpshooter says M8X peanut butter and baking soda.
For rats,
Eight
because I thought that
times.
mice.
Wonder what M8X. What am I missing? Apparently, some mixture of peanut butter and baking soda will kill the rat.
Yeah, because they can't.
Yes,
They,
Scatter. She called me a bad shot. That's 100% true.
I thought they were you missing all of those times? I thought you were hitting them and they were going through the little mouse and hitting the garage door. I did not know that you were missing all of those.
Well, some would have been misses. I used to, this is
That
in a different house, but I used to like to sit outside of my BB gun and because you guys, when you live in the country, mice are an inevitable part of your life. You just got to keep fighting the fight. And I would try to hunt them with the BB gun. I hit some, missed some. Squatchy says adult rats in the coop are smart. We catch the dumb ones. Tag has it right. You got to sneak up and pop. Yeah. Jimmy Greenspoon told us it was from the Australian Aboriginal people would dig a hole and sleep with two or more dingoes. He told some awesome stories. Oh yeah, super cool. Yeah, mix. Okay, I got it. What he meant was mix peanut butter with baking soda. Oh, there you go. You need a terrier, much better mouser. That's another option. One of the little
Hmm.
dogs, you know.
To keep in the chicken coop?
I want you to read this out loud, babe. Read this comment. This is an important comment.
Ping marks are acceptable losses. Time to focus on big picture. It made the garage door look bumpy.
Yeah, but pack rats got it right there. Yeah, our barn cats work hard. Gophers, mice, and rats. Yes, get a hold of your local humane society and ask if they have any barn cats. We have tons around here. Yeah, the problem is that, man, if you don't, you got to go get. First of all, you got to get them all fixed because if you don't, what you'll have is a ton of them, right? And we know
That's
this.
why
We've learned
he
this the
has a
hard way.
ton of them.
And it's funny. Every time we would get a stray cat would come on the property, B would decide she wanted to feed them. But what she would decide is she wanted to feed them in my spaces. She didn't
So
feed them in her spaces.
no, that's
She
not
fed them in my
accurate.
shop. That
That's
is
not
accurate.
they wanted to be in there. I did not start feeding them. I found them in there. They had already had babies and everything on your dirt. I didn't.
Yeah, ping marks serve as a warning to future generations of mice. I don't think she's buying it, Pack Rat.
No, because they
And
still came around.
Ghetto says that's why you shop at the Humane Society. Theirs are all fixed. Yeah,
Oh.
we're gonna have to do something. But these traps that be bought or seem to be working really, really well because in a month, how many mice have you killed?
Well, I just got them this week. I've
Okay, so in a week, how many have you killed?
It's been just the last 2 days, last 2 nights. This morning I took the 17 out and gave them to the roosters yesterday, and then today there were 5 in the turkey coop. So total 22.
Yeah, Hippocrates says they put alcohol in the water that it won't freeze into a much lower temperature. But how much lower temperature? And then the problem, I don't know anything about this. I'd have to read more about this. Do you have to add it all the time? How does it, you'll have to fill me in, instigator, on how that exactly works. Yeah. Um, Rickster says cats know Tag does not like them, so they screw with him. Yeah, they're 100% right. I don't like them,
They were gross.
especially when my wife puts them in my shop and creates them a nice little place, and then I go out there and there's 2 litters of kittens.
How did Clamp get his name?
That was Indiana Mike.
He took a little bowl that was labeled Clamps and fed the cat.
No,
That
he's
was
seen a little bowl, a little tray that I had screws in that said clamp that the cat happened to be by, and then gave him the name clamp.
eating. You were feeding the cat, Tag.
No,
You
no.
were feeding the cat out of a container that was labeled Clamps.
Isn't it funny how she gets all mixed up? It's these like little stories that she tells to help justify her dumping all of the feral cats into my shop.
No, come on
Oh,
now.
I wonder if you put a garden owl in there. They have these automated owls out in your garden to prevent gophers and other roads. I wonder if the turkeys would have a coronary though. You
With
know?
the
Yeah,
owl.
would you have? Hey, stepping in it. Good evening to you. Yeah. So anyway, we want to fix the water issue and then the mice issue. Those are both coming up. I'm looking for barn design ideas. So if you guys have any, good ideas or things that you've built in barns that you look back on and go, man, that was really smart. I'm really glad I did it that way because I mean, I have a blank canvas. We can do it any way we want to do it. Um, but I'm hoping in the spring I can maybe get a barn in because I think that would help us a lot. Right now we've got one, it's a big stall, but we only have one stall on the farm that I can put cows up in at night. We only have two cows on our farm. We have another one on the neighbor's farm, but so I'm gonna have to do something here pretty quick because it's not going to stay that way very long. One of those two cows is pregnant, right?
And
So
we have
we're gonna
another
have
one.
to do something. Hey, the beautiful MJ from Wisconsin is in the house.
Hi.
Howdy, howdy. So anyway, I would certainly take any pictures. Some people could email me or whatever it was, or even just post them or send me an email if you guys have barns with things that you really, really like. I'd be interested. Let me see. Eagle Lover says, check out Danny's barn. It's really nice. Yeah, I've watched a lot of Danny's stuff. Uh, and that's certainly a good place to get. Oh, another duplex, a calf condo. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I just need a bigger barn. The barns that I have now, they're great for the birds, but they're really pushing the limits for the cows. And they'll be fine this winter. I mean, they've got a nice big stall and they can get in there together and cuddle all up and it's facing the right direction. And so they'll be out of the weather. And so it's good, but it's just not, we're not going to be able to grow at all from a cow perspective until I get that issue done. And then the other building I've got to build this spring is I really need a rooster run. Really, really, really need a rooster run because what happens is we hatch so many birds, and you guys know, for those of you guys that hatch them, they get to be so many roosters that you get no eggs because if you leave those roosters in with the rest of your flock, they're just killing those poor girls. And so you got to separate the roosters. And so we separate them into a small pen where they just kick each other's asses all day long. Um, And so I really want to get a nice long rooster run where the roosters can actually run. They've got their own space. It's all enclosed. They can't get out. So they're not just right on top of each other. And maybe that make it a little bit easier because you moved. Tell the story, babe. You moved a couple new roosters into the rooster run. What happened?
Oh yeah. So I had some that had come of age to where I could tell that they were roosters, and I grabbed them and put them in the rooster run with the already full rooster pen. And the roosters that were in there just ganged up on those others, and they were stomping them. There was like three birds stomping on top of one bird. I had to crawl in there and get that rooster out of there. I actually removed both of them that I put in there. Um, I think I put three in there total, and then I removed two because those two were just, I mean, it was obvious that they were being picked on. So that was not a good idea. And I have a whole nother batch of roosters that are, or chickens that are coming into age to where I can tell that they're roosters. So I have 18 that need to be dealt with. And then I have a few more that will probably need another couple months because they're
Yeah,
just,
but you're going to have better space here in a minute because here in just a few days you're going to butcher all those roosters, right?
yeah.
So
And
talk a little bit about that. So how many are you going to butcher? Where are you going to butcher?
I have 18 roosters, chickens, and then I have a few turkey toms that I need to thin that herd out because I've got five that are all the same age toms that are running around. Those are the black artisan turkeys.
Yeah. Skanes Girl says, careful with all those condos tag. Taxes will go up. Well, taxes are certainly something I consider with all of them. And in my county, as long as it's portable and under 350 square feet, you don't have to pay taxes on it. So, but I need a big barn because it's way more than just animals. It's a place to store hay. It's a place to store feed. I'm trying to figure out how to make this process easier on my wife. because I feel for her when I know that's a lot of work, And we talked about watering earlier, and we built those water systems this year. And B, talk about how much life easier that made your life.
Oh, when you're carrying over the 4-gallon Culligan jars, jugs, how far is that to the turkey coop from the back door?
Oh goodness, maybe 300 feet.
So when you're hauling that over there, um, well, multiple times, because there's enough animals over there that 2 is not enough. 8 gallons of water is not enough.
Yeah.
When you're having to rinse the poo off and clean the items before you can fill them, you need some wastewater to clean things out. So and then when you take a wagon and you fill in jugs up that way and then hauling them over, you can't fill them all the way full because water sloshes around in there. And yes, you can use the lids if you don't rip them when you're taking them off. But hauling water back and forth to have the animals to drink, but then also to clean with over there. And then, if it gets spilled, then you're doing it again.
Yeah, well, but you've also learned to carry those big Culligan bottles in a 5-gallon bucket, right? That
That
makes it a lot easier.
that does help, but then if you leave those buckets out through the heat and the cold, the little plastic handle on the metal loop that you're carrying, the plastic comes off. So then you're just carrying a metal piece of wire on your hands. And then those are 4 gallons. So what's the weight of that? Would you say a gallon of water is?
8 pounds.
So I guess that doesn't seem like much, but
Not to
it
me.
does. It hurts my hands. So it does.
Stepping in it said that a hubby built a combo 1 cow milk stall with pit, 30 by 30, 3 stalls for the cows or goats, milk area with a sink.
Oh,
Right. And that's another thing, right? I mean, that's what we need to make sure in this barn that we get the areas, right? Like milking, I think is a great example of that.
milking.
Right. Hey, Brett, good evening to you. Nito says, yeah, harvesting roosters is what I need to do soon. Yeah, we got to get on it. And because they're just kicking, they're just beating on each other the whole time. So they've got to go in the freezer. And then next year we have to improve our processes. This is the thing that, like, people ask me all the time about, what's homesteading like, or but you guys been at it a while, you must be good at it. And the fact is, we can do it all, but we're not efficient at it yet. That's something we're still learning to get better and better and better at. Like the watering to the turkey coop made a big difference this year, made us a lot more efficient. But we've got to figure out how to get much, much, much more efficient, at least in my opinion. See, where am I at here? Plastic owls scared the crap out of my chickens, and they don't lay for a week. Yeah, that's what I've heard too. Stepping in, it says barn without concrete floor still taxed as agriculture. Yeah, so if it's doesn't have a concrete floor, the taxes are cheap, as compared to a house, but you're still getting taxed on it. If I make it movable and under 350 square feet, which wouldn't be much of a barn, you have to build 6 of them. I could avoid taxes altogether. Pete says we have a bunch of roofs that are headed to the cone. Yep. When are you going to do that? You're going to do that next week, right, B?
I'm going to do it on the 19th. It's a
On the
Sunday.
19th?
Yeah, we've got the Freeman Festivus on Saturday, the 18th. For those of you who are coming, hope you guys can make it. I need to know your numbers so I can get that accurate to the others.
Yeah, and if you guys are coming, don't just say, hey, I'm coming. Say, hey, I'm coming with 2, if you're bringing anybody, so that B can account for it. We'll talk about that before we leave tonight at the Festivus. But Rickster says, any idea of the size of the future barn? What I'd like to do is like a 50 by 100, but that's an awful big building, and I don't know what will get pulled off. Because there's the other thing is, I really like to be able to park some of my equipment inside. They go in my shop now, but if I put a hoist in my shop, that's going to limit my ability to put that equipment in there. And I'd like to be able to do that. I'd like to be able to store some hay indoors. I'd like to be able to stockpile grains and, the things that bee uses. I'd like to have a milking station, like we talked about that before. The other thing is that, as I learn to be a good homesteader, just like with chickens, one chicken pen's not enough if you're going to grow your own, right? Because what you have to be able to do is you have several different ages. You got to be able to separate the roosters, and then you need to be able to quarantine if something gets sick or gets hurt. Well, then you pick up turkeys. Well, you kind of need the same, right? And as you pick up or geese or whatever it is, and so I need some more space in order to make it be a little more efficient for beef.
Yeah.
But I have not decided yet. I'm going to spend this winter designing it. I've just been thinking about how I can harness nature to make it be efficient and keep the water from freezing, things like that. Brett Boyd said, "B, I hate that." I'm not exactly sure what he hates, but thick leather gloves, B. Yeah, she's got gloves. LJC says, "How did the Lumna Acres do their livestock water? They are in New Hampshire, so much colder there. I started trying to go through their videos, but there are a lot. Yeah, there's a lot, and they're a really great homestead, but they're doing it just like everybody else does it. When the wintertime comes, they're hauling water, and they have troughs that they're breaking ice in, right? Just like the rest of us, But there's got to be a way I can harness it in a manner that makes that all auto. I mean, I really think I could do it. I just don't know how yet. But I have not spent a ton of time, working on it though either. See, B says, I'm sorry, Banquet of Consequence says, "B, I have used an old piece of hose on a bucket bale handle because the wire bale hurts." Yeah, Brett says handles matter. You have an expert right there with you, Gypsy and Louise. Well, the thing is Gypsy and I have had a lot of conversations, you can love her, about how to do this. Him and I had talk about this all the time, about how in the world are we going to, keep that water from freezing. And it's just not an easy thing. He replaced the plastic with sections of hose. Yeah.
Hmm.
What's going on, Dana? Oops, dog after my food. Oh, someone's after her food. Yeah, roosters are just plain mean. Yeah. Well, and the thing is that they're not mean to me, but man, their nature is brutal. I'm going to talk in my speech tomorrow a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about the brutality of freedom. And that how the lion in the Serengeti is free, but he's got to fight for his life. And then the lion in the zoo is safe, but he ain't got no choices. And nature is just what nature is, but it is brutal, and they are mean to each other. I've caught the turkeys several times with a chicken in the middle of them, and they're all surrounded the chicken, and they're just hammering that chicken from all sides. Tag, you don't fall under the ag law. You don't fall under the ag law. I don't know, I'm not sure what you mean there, bud, but we have some roosters that are going to meet the French Revolution. Yep, us as well. We have 4 chicken pens, and we let them out every other day. They are 12 foot wide and 16 foot long. Yeah. Yeah, and I think if you could get into a good rotation like that, I think some of that would help that go. Would you agree, V?
Yeah. You got to manage that. And if there's other people who are doing it, then it would be hard to you know, if you're alternating birds, you'd have to have like a schedule of some kind, unless you were the one always doing it, right? But if they all
Now
had
for the
their own
rooster,
run,
good.
if they all had their own run, it would be easier to do chores. You didn't have to, right? It's a no-brainer. You let them out, or you just leave the door open and let them come and go as they please, like the turkeys, like the Royal Palm turkeys, right? Because they can come in and go out like the guineas. They come in and they go out just as how whenever they want. I don't have to let the guineas in because they're just always locked up.
Yeah, but the Royal Palms and the Narragansetts and the Spanish Blacks and all the slates,
Yeah.
those turkeys, you don't lock them up. Do you have an equal hard time getting those up as you do the artisan blacks?
Yeah.
They're not any worse than the other.
No.
Okay.
But the
Yeah. Well, my
artist
idea for good.
The artisan blacks don't have another place to go, right? The Royal Palms have a run that they can get to
Mm.
whenever they want. It's a outside run that they can get to.
Yeah, but you're saying it doesn't matter, that they're equally as hard to put up, even though one has one and one doesn't.
To put up, correct.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it would be easier if they all had their own area that they could just
Their
come
own
and
run.
go there. Yes.
Mm.
An enclosed run that they can't fly out.
Yeah, well, my idea for the rooster run was a 16 by 150-foot run, like a big one, right? Like a long, thin run with maybe two runs in it, two 20-foot wide or two 16-foot wide or whatever it is. So you could kind of separate them up a little bit. I don't know. Brett says the barn with concrete, you said it would raise your taxes. Yeah, in my county, if it's permanently a fixed foundation, so whether it's a concrete floor, a dirt floor, no matter what it is, if it's permanently attached, or well, first of all, if it's permanently attached, period, you're taxed on it. But if it's not permanently attached and under 350 square feet, you're not taxed on it. Rickster says, Happy Veterans Day to everybody. Yep, all you vets out there, Happy Veterans Day.
Oh, yeah.
Karen says, I think Just a Few Acres YouTube channel had a video on water in winter in New York. I think he has a frost-free hydrant and just unscrews the hose when he's done for the day. I don't know if that helps with your setup. Yeah, I could do that if I buried the water. That's exactly how I would do it. If I was going to bury the water, I would bury it. I'd get a pump. I'd get all that stuff with a frost-free faucet with a hose where she could go out there, turn it on, water everything, turn it off, and unscrew the hose, and off you go. I just didn't know if there was something I could do that was a little more, I don't know, off gritty,
Are you supposed to unscrew the hose on the outside faucets up
on a
there?
frost-free faucet. Yeah.
What's ours
Okay.
up there? Because I did not unscrew that. The one at the garden.
Yeah, yours won't. Well, do you have the long hoses on them or the little hoses on them?
Long.
Yeah, you need to unscrew them. The little hoses wouldn't matter, but because she's got some like 4-foot hoses that she just uses to fill things with. Those won't matter. But you see here, we do 1 acre for homestead, rest is farmland. Yeah, they're gonna well, but regardless whether it is zoned ag or home, if it's more than 350 square feet or it's permanently attached, you're gonna pay for it. So just write it. I'm so sick of taxes. My taxes went up $300 again this year,
Yep.
right? They were up $300 last year and probably $300 the year before that and $300 the year before that.
No, I
And I don't
mean,
know,
we've only had it for what? How long have we had this?
5 years?
And it
No, we've had
was
it about it in 17
$200.
or 18. We bought it in 18, right?
It was $200 when we got it. The taxes, $230.
Yeah, but that was when it was bare land, babe. That's it's going to go up when you build a house and you start putting structure on. But man, it's getting out of control. I don't know how. I don't know how people do it. We're so fortunate that we have no mortgage and we have none of those things. But man, I feel sorry for that. Single mom trying to raise a kid at home, paying $2,000 a month of rent, and I don't know how people are doing it. I don't. I just don't know. I feel bad for them. I mean, I guess lots of people, yoking up in the same building, I guess. I don't know. But there was a post in my local area on Facebook the other day about the taxes because we just got all of us just got notified of the tax increase. And so me and my buddy Hitch, which he lives pretty close to me, I had noticed this post and he had commented on this post and one of the commissioners jumped in and tried to defend their position on raising the taxes, and we hammered him pretty good, and then he didn't come back. But I don't know, man. We the people, it's time to start standing up. Time to start, walking into the commissioner's office and letting them know that hey, they're betraying us. Janet Yellen says we can support multiple wars because taxpayers owe money. I know. Can you believe she said that? They're going to go after taxpayers who owe delinquent taxes so that they can fund wars overseas. Taxes are less on ag. Remember, I said would be the death of small farms. Yeah, 100%. And I know it's less. The tax rate itself is less, but again, they're taxing it anyway. And I don't know I don't know how we get around, the whole tax thing. I just don't understand it. I don't know how, because it's at some point it gets to be so egregious that, that nobody can afford it. I mean, I know there are older people right now today in my area who are losing their homes or are in, you know, it's a possibility they could lose their homes simply because they can't keep up with the property taxes. And these are homes and farms that have been paid for 30 years. They paid them off long ago, but because the taxes just keep coming up, and then you get older and you go on Social Security, and because you were a farmer, right? And you had one person working outside the home or whatever it was, you were getting a Social Security check of $900 a month, and you own 80 acres of land, and you got a house on it, and so now your taxes are $6,000 a year, right? On $900 a month, so you're making $12,000 a year, and you're spending 6,000 of it on property taxes. What a shame, right? What an absolute shame. Gregory says real estate taxes here in Nebraska are terribly high. About 70% goes to the school district. Yep, schools play a huge part in what property taxes are, but we need to go and infiltrate those school districts, and we need to go infiltrate those county commissioner spots, right? Hey, All America Prepper, good evening to you. Yeah. Richter says the only war I will fight is what do I want for dinner? No, you're fighting more than that. Every time you pay tax dollar, you're funding killing people overseas, bud. You're doing it. You just don't have to face it. You're doing it. It's like the rest of us. Sandy says that's the intended purpose. Take land through outrageous taxes. I'm tomorrow. I get to talk on stage with a guy named General Holt, and I don't know him all. I don't know him at all, actually. But we're going to talk a lot about how we limit the amount of fronts that someone can come at us by, right? And they've got us enslaved in this crazy system that we live in today, right? And you get it from every single corner. But you guys probably talk about this a million times. If we can begin to I first identify that stroke, or identify those places of permission, we can systematically attack those places and get it down to where we can fight fewer and fewer and fewer fronts. But all that does is allow you to withstand it a little bit longer. In the South, we're stocking up on lead. Cities will implode. Yeah, I wouldn't want to live in the city. It's funny, I'm down here in Florida, and I was telling B before the live tonight, man, people are so rude. Like, I'm not used to that. Jess and Joe from American Roots were over at our house the other night, and they were talking about getting used to everybody waving at them. And because of where we live, you drive down the road, whether they know you or they don't know you, you're getting waved at. It's just the way it works. And then you come down here, or I imagine the same as like it's in Phoenix, where they live or whatever it is. And, just like here, I get off the plane and I walk outside and head across the parking lot to try to get a rental car, and people are honking because I ain't walking fast enough or whatever. And it's like, man, is your life really so much more important than everybody else's? Like, really? I went down to there's a little grocery store right here on the corner. It's like this not even like a grocery store. It's just this little corner shop, and they had tomatoes, big tomatoes in there for sale. I think they were $3 a tomato, and they had eggs and butter for sale, but no milk. I found that interesting. But yeah, man, people are just so crazy. Let me see. Bakewood says, I'm glad my property taxes for 140 acres is $600, homestead and ag.
Wow.
Yeah. Ours did too in Christian County, Missouri this year. Yeah. I think it's going up everywhere. I don't think you're going to be able to run from it. We just got to figure out how we can defend that, right? And what I mean by defend it is, if we can eliminate a lot of the other things, I think we can withstand, $6 fuel, or higher tax rates, or whatever it is. My bill knows a military widow who lives with her kids in a tent heated via a wood stove by a creek in West Tennessee. And that's easier on her than swinging rent or property tax on a house. It's rough. Yeah. We own 30 acres in Tennessee, and our taxes are $3,800 a year. Ugh. Man. My other 40 acres is not a homestead, and it's $300 for property taxes. You see here, back in the day, folks lost their minds over a 2% tax. Yeah, T-tax. Yeah, well, our founding fathers would be rolling over in their graves. I'm glad mom gets a homestead exemption. Still nearly 160 for only 1 acre. So crazy. This is not the first time this has happened. During the real depression, my grandfather bought his 100-acre farm for tax payments. Yeah, talk about a redistribution of wealth, huh? Yeah, how absolutely crazy that is. Anyway, B, what else you got?
Hey, you just
Anything
talked
on your
about
list?
elections. We just had our local elections.
Did you go vote?
I did not.
Mhm.
Did you go vote?
Yep.
I had. Were
I
you
ain't participating
here?
in all that shit. Nope.
You weren't here.
What's that?
Were you here?
No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Oh, here's some interesting ones. Terminator says there in Ontario, Canada, their taxes are $1,200 for 100+ acres. Half Bubble Off Plum says I just paid $6,004 for their property taxes. Man,
Yikes.
on the surface, you think, $6,000 a year for taxes, that's not so bad, but it's not so bad if you're making 100 grand a year. But if you're making, 12,000 or $18,000 a year because you're on Social Security, that's a killer, right? I mean, someone making $1,000 a month, that $6,000 payment would be half of their Social Security payment, right? I mean, so we've got to get to a point where at least upon retirement, you're not paying property taxes. And what a shame! Someone works their whole lives to own a farm and only to lose it because they can't afford the taxes on it. I mean, then was it really ever theirs? Probably not, right? Maybe we don't really own anything. Did you not like that, B?
Yep. And you will like it.
You don't like it?
No, and you will like it. You
No,
will
yeah. You
mean
will
it.
own nothing and you'll be happy. Yeah, you got to talk into the microphone. If you don't, what happens is nobody can hear you. Did you know that?
No.
No. Yeah, well, I don't know what to do with the tax. Hey, let's talk about some positive stuff. What about the Freeman Festivus?
Yep, that's coming up Saturday. This coming Saturday. No, not
Yep.
tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Saturday. A
No,
week
the
from
next one.
November
Yeah.
18th.
Yep.
Uh, potluck gathering. We will eat
Mhm.
and enjoy one another.
Yeah,
Limited.
I'm looking forward to seeing what it grows into. We designed it so that we could develop our own traditions, right? That was away from consumerism. And so I'm going to be interested over as the years go by how we create our own traditions. I'm super excited to see what that is. We have a local restaurant called 1886, which is one of in our community. It's kind of like our favorite place to go, and they're going to cater in some meat for us, just as being part of the community. But everyone's going to bring a dish, side dish, whatever it is. B and I rented a hall that we'll all have it in, and we're to basically just sit down and eat and graze for hours, right? Kind of think about it like this Thanksgiving dinner on steroids. But I'm looking forward to it a lot. 2.5 acre property we still have in California is over $3,000 a year. Oh my goodness. I just got hit with property taxes and inheritance taxes on my father's estate. 7 siblings and I are the only one who has the money to pay. Uh, oh, Gregory says, try to bite off about 32,000 in taxes. Well, ships got to be built. Gregory, those new tanks, they need them. You got to do your part. I was just back at the farm and they were talking about 7K for farmland. Yeah, there's a lot of land around us sells for that kind of money. But
Per acre.
Packrat says, are you doing the feats of strength and the airing of grievances as part of the Festivus tradition? Well, last year there were some jokes about doing that. But really, I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, this is for the community to kind of figure out what the traditions are, right? I mean, I think I would probably prefer we didn't do an airing of grievances. That should be done one on one. I don't really want to work hard that day, so the feats of strength are probably out. But I'd love to see the homesteads all come together with the goods that they make, and maybe put tables all the way around the edge, and barter for different goods from different homesteads, or pay for them or whatever it is. But that'll be really, really cool. I don't know what it's going to turn out to be. LJC says they need to cater in those hash browns. Yeah, they have the best hash browns and the best bacon. They do. That place rocks. They use just farm fresh stuff around us. So the meat's all local, the eggs are all local, everything's not about everything, because they sometimes they run out of things or they can't get something, but mostly that's what it is. You guys are so smart building a community, and the barter system will keep y'all away from the government control. Well, that's the plan, right? And the more of that we can do, I think the safer we'll be. But more importantly, what it does, again, it lessens those fronts that they can attack us on, you know? Well, I've been looking at property, just check property taxes, $1,300 on a third of an acre. Packrat says, oh, Packrat says feats of eating and agorism, then. Yep, feats of eating would be fun. I know who would win that one. B would be there, wouldn't you, honey?
I'd give it heck.
Yep. What else have I been up to? So this week I'd gotten back from Kentucky, and I went over to help a homestead finish up some trusses and put some plywood on. And I went to another homestead and we worked on a little bit of plumbing and some electrical. And then I haven't really done much on our homestead, have I?
Then you went to another homestead and helped them with the electrical.
I did. I just said that though.
Well, you did electrical and then you did the
I did electrical and plumbing at one, and then we worked on trusses and plywood on another. Oh, and
and
I
then
guess we worked on
there.
plywood on another too. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
That's what I
So
thought
that
you.
was fun,
Yeah.
but I haven't done much on my homestead. I need to get back to it. I'm super excited because I'm getting ready to go back to pod 4. As the weather cools down, I'll begin to turn my attention back to the inside. And maybe by the time this winter's over, I'll have our bedroom done. And how cool would that be to be, guys? I cannot tell you how excited I will be to have a bedroom on the first floor. And it's not that I can't do stairs, because I can certainly do them, but man, you get up in the middle of the night, you got to pee. I got to go all the way downstairs.
Well, and in the summertime, it's hot up there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm very excited about having that done. And I'll obviously film along the way. And hey, since I'm on that topic, you guys, hey, I'm sorry I haven't done a lot of filming lately. I just haven't been around to do it. I put out the one video last week, but I will get back to it as soon as I get back. I'm here one more day. I speak tomorrow. I'm home. I'm home the rest of the year, and we'll get to it. But yeah, let me see what's going on here. Cat, what's this? What? No windows. No windows. What are we talking about with no windows?
You didn't go
Tag, you're
help
in Florida.
with windows?
Yeah, Brett, I'm just south of Orlando, Florida. Right now, I speak tomorrow. Let me see. Tag. Yesterday, Utah said no to green energy power plants. Interesting. Sandy says my grandparents used to have a trout farm. Oh, I love fishing for trout. I have not done it in years. I grew up in Colorado, and we used to do it all the time. I'd love to try my hand at one. Yeah, so neat. So neat. Trout don't do well where I live. Well, I mean, they do. If you have a big enough body of water, they would. But in the farm ponds like what we have, you're more like bass and crappie and catfish and stuff like that. Where? So I'm St. Cloud. I'm in St.
Wow.
Cloud, south of Orlando. Let me see here. Toby says you're still invited to come help do concrete in my building. It's only 16 yards. Yeah, that's not enough concrete to drive all the way out there. I'd drive all the way out there and we'd be done in an hour. And then what? Then you'd have to entertain me the whole time, Toby. And that is a feat. Ask me.
Yep.
Tag, I've done the wiring and now all the insulation, hoping to have my bedroom out of the kitchen and into the new addition after a year finally. Yeah, you me too. I cannot wait. Have to go downstairs because there's no windows to pee out of. Oh yeah, no, B would have none of that. If I tried to pee out of the window, do you have any idea how much trouble I would be in? Oh my goodness.
Well, there's a back deck out there, but still, it's pretty cold in the wintertime.
Yeah, Brett, I'm going to a place called Galt's Landing in the morning, and this is where the Path to Freedom thing is. And for those of you guys who weren't at the beginning, so I'm speaking at basically a big freedom convention tomorrow, and it's all going to be filmed, and they're going to make a documentary out of it, which I didn't tell you guys all that part, but so there's three movie crews that will be there, and they're going to do some kind of documentary out of it. I don't know what. I'm just going to do my thing and not worry about it, but um, that's what's going on tomorrow. So I currently live in upstate South Carolina. The trout farm was in northeast Georgia. Trout prefer colder water. Yeah. Yeah, I'm unaware of any trout where I live, but large Gatorade bottles. Yep. Yep. You guys don't
No,
understand. I would get in so much trouble because I would
no,
forget one. I'd pee in a Gatorade bottle and I'd set it somewhere and then I would forget it and then my wife would find it and oh my goodness,
no, 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 no,
all
no.
hell would break loose. Tag, we still walk outside around the cabin and use the outhouse. Well, I know, but you're tougher than I am, Terminator. Toby says there's plenty of work to do around the farm, fencing off 5 acres field along with cutting some trees down. I can do all that work. Brett says, fantastic, Tab. I hope it goes well. Oh, it'll go well. It's these are topics I know inside and out that I talk about it all the time. So we'll go do a bunch of hanging out and off we go. It's an essential in a rooftop tent. Yeah, well, when we would go camping, B and I used to camp all the time. She'd pee in a bucket right in the tent. But we have functioning bathrooms, and I think that would be B's point, right, B?
Yes. Well, and you already leave half drained glasses of milk around the house. I would not want to find half full bottles of urine around the house. That's just not something I'm interested in. That's not okay.
Okay. She won't let you go full Howard Hughes then. No. No, and guys, happy spouse, happy house, right? And you notice I didn't say happy wife, happy life, but happy spouse, happy house, and she'd have none of it. I already get in trouble for if I leave a milk glass out or something, which I don't do a lot.
You
I
don't
choose
get
to
in
try not to.
trouble.
Eagle Lover says urine makes good fertilizer. Yep, tent pooping, laugh my ass off. Yeah, me and B used to camp all the time, but we haven't camped in years. It just can't. It's so hard to get away.
We live off
But
grid. It's like camping here.
yep, yep, that's right. I'm traveling. I'm from the bush. If I have to go, I look for the nearest tree. Yep, I don't blame you a bit. Not a bit. All right, babe. What else you got?
Um, what else? We've got visitors here. We're going all to have breakfast in the morning
You
at
going to
our
1886?
lovely cafe. Yeah. Speaking of them hash browns, yeah, I'll get me some.
Yeah.
I did make an appointment to get the dogs fixed so we don't have any unwanted puppies from the
When
neighbors.
is that?
Oddly enough, it's the day before Thanksgiving,
Oh, okay.
and I am going to need help getting them to their appointments. Two
Did
dogs.
the did the propane company come and do those tanks like I asked them to?
They didn't do them. They took them.
Oh, so they're not even at the house anymore?
No, they apparently, if they're under so many gallons, they just take them with them and service them somewhere else. But the tank that you got was 1949. It said on it 1949, and he said, this tank is a little older. than some of the other ones that we've worked on. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get the parts, so we'll let you know. So
Yeah.
if they can't get the parts to rebuild it, then I hope that I don't know what you do with a tank that you can't rebuild if you can't get
all
the
kinds of
parts
things.
to.
No, they'll fix it. They'll rebuild it. So I bought a 495-gallon tank at the auction. I think I paid $400 for it or something like that. Is that right, B?
It was 490 gallons.
495 gallons
I don't know. It looked quite a bit smaller than, wasn't it a 500-gallon tank at the old house?
at the old house.
It was
Well,
looked quite a
no,
bit
the
smaller.
the old one we had switched into a 1,000-gallon tank, but the first
Yeah,
tank
was
was
a
a
five.
500. Yeah,
I don't know that it. This one you bought looks skinnier.
yeah. Well, it says 495 on the side of it, so
Oh, I didn't.
But
I didn't look at
yeah.
that.
So and then my buddy Gypsy bought a like 250 or something like that. But anyway, I called them and had them pick both. Well, I just wanted them to fix the tanks, but they picked them both up
Picked them up.
to go have them rebuilt. So let me see here. Oh, sorry, I didn't even read it. I grew up in a house with no indoor plumbing. Going to the outhouse when it's 15 degrees outside is no fun at all. Yeah, well, Sandy Terminator's in the house, and she does that every day in Canada. No, let me see here. Midwest Ribeye says my two closest homesteading friends will be here tomorrow morning. Lunch and thrifting fun for all. Ah, congratulations. How cool is that? B, you're just super glamping on a permanent basis. Yeah.
Mhm. Basically.
Let me see here. You make hog vat out of them. My daughter cured all of the bacon from the 4 pigs I raised in her homestead, maple syrup, and boy, is it delicious. Oh, I love that. She also took the breast meat from a 67-pound turkey and made sausage. Can you imagine a 67-pound turkey?
That would, yeah, that's beautiful.
I bet that one that big one that you're going to butcher, I bet it's all at 40, but it is not 67.
I think the one that Pippin had last year was like 80 pounds.
Oh, really? That's a big one.
That's a big bird.
Yeah. Well, ours is going to die at 40, but at least that one, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how big it is.
Yeah. Be interesting for you to weigh it after you get it all done. I'd be
Yeah,
curious.
so yeah, I guess I got to get a bigger scale because mine doesn't
Yeah.
go high.
Yeah, you squat. Notice. Brett Boyd says at 15, I bet you squat, not sit when you got to go when it's cold outside. Yeah.
15 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah. When it's 15 degrees and you got to pee, do you sit down on the toilet or do you hover?
Depends on how long you're going to be there.
Yeah. I guess that is, huh? Yeah. Terminator said she did a turkey at 86 pounds once.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a big one. Big one. How funny is that? What else you got, babe? And if you don't, then we're gonna get out of here. I got a long day tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it.
Sandy says, hover. Yeah, get some foam insulated seats for those cold temperatures.
That's probably where they came up with those foam seats.
Yeah, yeah. No thanks. I'll sit in the warm house with the fire and that'll be just fine, huh? Yeah. Babe, you got anything else?
No.
So why don't you got any parting words for us before we go?
Yeah, try to um learn how to do it yourself. When you're not here and things happen, I can't use the wagon because it's a flat tire, or this happened or that happened, or or whatnot. Me being able to do things myself to take care of the farm. Ideally, what we're doing here is growing our food so that we know where our food is coming from. So we know the inputs that are going into it, and doing the things that we can do to create a life that's manageable for one of us is makes it to where then we have enough time to spend time together. Or we can enjoy, we have time to enjoy the fruits of our labor, and be able to take a little nap here and there. So be able to put our feet up and watch the birds and enjoy it. So putting in the work, figuring it out, managing it. It is definitely easier to have a partner, but it is very important for me to be able to do it myself. And I encourage everybody to step outside of what they want to do and be creative in ways that they can get things done.
Yeah, I think I'll piggyback on that just a little bit, which is, I think sometimes us as homesteaders, we get so wrapped up into what we're doing. It's, bell to bell. You get up in the morning, you work all day till night, and that's just the way you do it. And then you begin to accept the fact that that's what the norm is. But if you can create efficiencies in your systems, and you can challenge all of those systems, and you can find ways to make it easier, you can spend a whole lot more time with your snow bunny, sitting on the couch, enjoying, a hot, cup of cocoa, and enjoying a movie from time to time. And don't put yourself in a situation to where all you get to do is work all the time. Take a little bit of time to enjoy it, and then get back at it, because there's lots of work for sure to be done. But apparently Grumpy has a show at 9 p.m. tonight. I did not know that. I think other than that, I think we're going to get out of here, guys. Like I said, I've got a long day tomorrow. I still have to figure out 100% about what I'm going to talk about, and it's 9:37 here. So we're going to get out of here, but we'll be back to the regular scheduled everything starting next week. We'll get some videos out. We've got a lot going on at the house. I know B's going to do some butchering. I'm sure you'll do a video of that, won't you, B?
Yeah.
And how's the "it's all her fault" video coming?
Kind of forgot about it, but I know there were lots of points that, a lot of that hits home for me because I have seen it firsthand. So it's not something that we talk about a lot, because it's easy to say it's somebody else's fault. So I thought about it when you asked me if that was something I was interested in doing, and because I have seen it firsthand and have felt that wedge that women create. I think it's important for it to be done. So I haven't really worked on it, but there's a lot of things that are right on the tip of my tongue. So whenever you say boss.
Yeah. Well, I think at the end of the day, we all play a role. And as soon as we take accountability for those roles, and we say that everything that happens to us is our fault, right? And, we take some accountability for that, I think we can all live a better life. And I think we learn to love well, right? If
Yeah.
you learn to do that, if you learn to love well, then you have something that's kind of unpenetrable. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. B will get that video out. So until we do it again, what do you say, B?
Hold the line.
Yep. Don't give an inch.
Try to do more today than you did yesterday. Hold the line. Don't give an inch. Be
B,
out.
we say be out.
Be out.
I love having that control. You see how I could just dump it like that? How cool was that? Hey, we'll see you guys. Good night, everybody.